All right. Hey, everybody. How we doing? All right, so my name's John Buckle, and this is my first time I've ever signed up from Open Mic Night. And I'm pretty sure this is what a 13-year-old girl feels like the first time she's given a blowjob, right? I mean, come on, right? Everybody gets my face. This is ridiculous, seeing the amount of time you guys put the mic up against your mouth. But neither here nor there, I will say that I was leading up to tonight, I was really quite nervous. And I say was because thank God I have a therapist. And so right before I came here tonight, I stopped in with my therapist to have a kind of a quick session to decide, to kind of calm my nerves. And she says, John, get up there, suppress your inward fears, and have a good time. All right, so yeah, I'm here. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna tell some jokes. This is it. Let's have some fun, right? But I gotta tell you, I'm not quite sure what the hell she meant by suppress your inward fears. Your inward fears? Suppress your inward fears? Inward fears? Holy shit, is that bitch racist? I mean, the N-word? I mean, who fucking says that? What is the therapy session? Come on, I may be afraid of black people, but no one says the N-word. I mean, some people do, but not me. I don't say it. I don't say the N-word. But, N-word is one of those little loopholes that people take advantage of, And I think that we all know what loopholes are. Those are those little rules that we bend. To sort of to make it so it aligns with what we really want our lives to be like. So yeah, loopholes. We all know what loopholes are. We take advantage of them all the time, especially fucking roommates. Roommates take advantage of loopholes. So when I was back in college, for example, I lived with a guy, and we had one rule. And that rule was, hey, if you cook, then the other cleans, right? If you cook, the other cleans. Makes sense. Where the idea here is that if you are so kind to cook dinner for your other roommate, then you are off the hook for cleaning up that night, right? Makes sense. Well, not if there's a fucking loophole, right? Right? So I come home and I walk into my apartment and my kitchen is a fucking disaster. There's pots and there's pans and there's spaghetti sauce like spewed all over the walls, and it really looks like Julia Child and Chef Boyardee went all the cocky up in my kitchen. It's a fucking disgusting mess. And then on top of that, I round the corner and I find my fat ass roommate shoving spaghetti into his mouth with his girlfriend. I'm like, hey, what the fuck, man? Where's my food? And he was like, no food for you. And I was like, well, are you going to at least clean up the kitchen? And he looks at me and he says, hey, wait a minute. I cooked. You cleaned. Loophole. That fucking asshole. But fucking brilliant asshole. I mean, good for him for figuring that out. Way to exploit the loophole, right? I mean, good for him. Bravo. So I went to the kitchen and threw his dishes in the trash, Kitchen fucking clean. Fuck that loophole. All right? Yeah, well, even my beautiful wife, right, who's here tonight, yeah, she exploits loopholes all the time. We have a rule in our house around how we spend our money. We have a difference between household money, which is for the boring shit, bills, mortgages, and whatever. But then we also give ourselves allowances that we can spend on whatever the fuck we want. No questions asked, right? Makes sense. That seems pretty fair. Well, not if there's a loophole, which my wife found, right? So my wife, she does the grocery shopping at Target. Anybody do that? Raise your hand. Anybody do grocery shopping at Target, right? So my wife, she brings home bags and bags of stuff, and I'm unloading the bread and the milk and the butter, and amongst all this stuff, I'm finding a treasure trove of yoga gear and Beats headphones and 50 Shades of what the fuck, I don't know. And I look to my wife, I'm like, honey, for this, right? And she looks at me and she says, babe, those are groceries. Loophole. Fucking brilliant, right? I mean, so, hey, I use my allowance now to pay for hand jobs from hookers on Craigslist. I mean, that seems pretty fair, right? Fuck that loophole, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, not really. I really don't do that. We're taping this for my father-in-law to watch, so this is that was seriously a bad joke, okay? And besides, I would never pay for hookers on Craigslist. I would look elsewhere. But really, what we do have is we do have one rule when it comes to sex, right? My wife looks at me and she says, hey, whatever happens to my butthole happens to your butthole. All right. Right? Yeah, I get that. Boundaries, right? I can get behind that, if you know what I mean? I understand. But then I found the loophole, right? So for the last 5 years, I've been going to get my physical, and my doctor, who looks a lot like Patrick Dempsey, by the way, he insists on examining my prostate. And at my last exam, while the lovely Dr. Shepard has his finger firmly up my ass, he came to me. It's like, hey, loophole, right? Whatever happens to my butthole happens to her butthole. Awesome! I couldn't wait to get home to tell my wife about this. So I hurried out the door. I ran to the local florist and bought the biggest bouquet of roses that $25 could buy, using my allowance. And then I scurried home and I surprised my wife with these flowers. And then I cooked her a meal. And then after the meal, I ushered her off to take a relaxing bath while I cleaned the kitchen. Even though I cooked. So while she's relaxing, I sneak into the bedroom and I start making it all romantic-like, like lowering the lights, lighting some candles, strategically placing that KY jelly. Basically getting ready for some amazing lovemaking and some adventurous ass play. Right? And so my wife, she comes out, and lucky for me, she's ready to go. She's ready to go. I'm like, all right, let's do this. And so we're fooling around, and right when I'm about to make the move, she looks over her shoulder, she's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, baby, and I tell her about my doctor's appointment, super excited. I'm like, hey, remember, baby, whatever happens to my butthole happens to your butthole. Loophole. She says, you're right. So she immediately leaps from the bed, and now she has an appointment with my Dr. Dreamy on Thursday. Fuck that loophole.